I don't know, probably. Okay, as you guys are tuning into my homework packet number 7 video, I will be working the odd problems. Thank you to AJ Moreno for that suggestion. And as you can see on my paper, I have a lot more of the parts included on my packet. You need to make sure that you have all 3 of these things, your y equals, your m with your xy table, and your b for each of them. I am here with my co-hosts, Isaiah Ramirez, AJ Moreno, and Maya Miles. So you'll hear their voices in the background.
Hi!
Yay!
Free!
Okay, so taking a look at number 1. The very first thing that we need to identify are 2 points that we can use to find our slope. I'm going to personally pick my y-intercept, or my b, which is -5. Now the point here is 0, -5. So I'm going to include that in one of my xy points. And then looking at another point, Isaiah, what's another one that you would pick? That's perfectly on the line. 2,
And -1.
2, -1. Do you like doing rise over run, or do you want to use the equation to find the slope? Okay, let's do the equation. So we've got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So my y2 is going to be -1 minus -5, careful here, over x2, which is 2, minus 0. Your calculator knows how to do -1 minus a -5. You don't have to do KCC for this. So in my calculator, I'll do -1 minus -5. And I get 4, my numerator, over, what's 2 minus 0? 2.
Oh, you were asking us.
Yeah, and so 4 divided by 2 to simplify equals what, folks?
2.
2, very good. So now I have my 2 parts in order to write my equation. I have my 2 for my m, I have my -5 for my b. And so looking up at the top, y equals mx plus b would give me y equals 2x minus 5 for my equation. Capiche?
Yes.
Cool. Now, looking at number 3, we're going to follow the exact same steps. I'm personally going to pick my y-intercept again, which is -5, or the point is 0, -5. What's another good point to pick, AJ? I'm going to have you do this one this time. What's another good point?
For number 3,
Mm-hmm.
4 and -3.
4 and what?
Out of -3.
4 and -3? That one's not on the line.
Oh. Not
Okay. What about this one right here? What's the x value there? Three? And what's the y value? 2. And let's do our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Do you have to memorize this? No, it's on your reference sheet.
Oh, I memorized it. Right.
Well, it's probably tattooed on your brain. So 2 minus -5 over 3 minus 0. Your calculator knows keep, change, but let's try to do this in our head and push ourselves with fluency. So 2 plus 5 gives me what in the numerator? 7?
I forget that you're asking.
2 plus 5 is 7, yep. And then 3 minus 0 is 3. So my m is 7 over 3. My b is -5. So my equation in y equals mx plus b form is going to be 7 over 3x minus 5. One more in this section I'll do with you guys. Same exact steps. Identify your y-intercept first, and that's at 1. My b is 1. So if I'm looking at my xy table, This is going to be 0, 1. What's another good point to pick? Isaiah, what's another good one? And number 5.
Positive 1, oh no, wait, 0 and positive 1.
That's our y-intercept. Yep, I already have that one. And what would be another good one to pick?
So,
-1 and -4.
Very good.
You took too long. Oh well.
Slow poking. Okay, so now we've got y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So my y2 is -4 minus my y1 is 1 over -1 minus 0. Isaiah, what do I get in my numerator? What's -4 minus 1?
-5.
-5, good. And then what's -1 minus 0?
-1.
-1, excellent. So it's -5 divided by -1.
5.
So that's my m. I have my m, I have my b, and now I can write my equation. Y equals mx, so 5x plus 1. Those 3 are not too bad. And y'all will do the even ones of those. And we're going to skip right along. And I showed you guys how to do number 7 in class. Identifying the x-intercept. That's the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. So that's on the -5. And then my y-intercept is at +4. Then I'm going to connect those two.
Attention all scholars, will Kathy Vega please report to car
And that's my line.
Kathy Vega,
It's literally all you're
report to
doing.
car line.
So now let's change the page. Pasa la página. And then looking at number 9, our x-intercept is 3. So I'll put my dot on 3. My y-intercept is at what? -2. Now draw your line. Normally I'm pretty poor at drawing these. If you're looking at these ones, I'm pretty good at this. Just saying. Number 11. X-intercept is at -2 on the x-axis. Y-intercept is at +4. Draw my line. Boom. Number 13. X-intercept is 5. Y-intercept is -2. Boom. Man, I'm crushing these lines. And that's technically all that you'll be able to do at this point. But we're going to keep going. We're going to get rocking and rolling. So if you guys want to know how to do the stuff that we're doing tomorrow, it says which of the following graphs match the inequality for number 15. And so, again, I haven't written this on your packets or on your papers, but I would like for you to include these 4 things. Your M, your B, the line, and the shading. Those are the 4 things that I want you guys to have whenever we do inequalities. We're going to treat inequalities like they're lines up until we have the sign and what type of shading it means. So, looking at this inequality, we're going to treat it just like this inequality sign as an equal sign for most of the steps. So my slope is going to be the number or the coefficient in front of the x, which in our case is -6/5. Our b is still going to be our y-intercept. So in number 15, the y-intercept is 5, according to our equation. And it's here where we look at the signs. And again, you're going to learn this tomorrow, but if I have greater than or less than without the equal to signs, those lines are broken. And if you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, those lines are called solid. And if you have greater than or equal to, the shading is above. And if you have less than or equal to, the shading is below. Those are 4 things that we're going to learn about tomorrow. but I'm previewing this. This is like the trailer for tomorrow's epic movie. And so looking at our sign in our inequality right here, this is a greater than sign. So if you look at the greater than sign, the line is going to be broken. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. And because it's greater than, look at your sign for greater than, the shading is going to be above. Okay, so looking at our answer choices, we'll be able to eliminate some of them just like you will be on your ESE and on your CA. We're looking for a dotted line or a broken line. So which two answer choices here, folks, between AJ and Isaiah, which two answer choices can we eliminate in number 15, knowing that our line has to be dotted or broken? B and D. And we also know that the shading has to be above the line because it says the inequality y is greater than negative 6/5 x plus 5. So between A and C, which one has the shading above? Above the line. And so we can eliminate, what's our other answer that we can eliminate? We can eliminate A since the shading is below the line. So sometimes you don't even need to find the y-intercept or find the slope. You can just tell by some of the characteristics that you find that your answer needs to be C. So you'll do the same steps for number 16, but I'm going to skip right along and move on to number 17. We're going to do the exact same steps. So looking at our inequality, we're going to identify the slope. The slope is negative 7/2. So let's do this kind of differently in this problem. Knowing that our slope is negative, are there any positive sloping lines that we can eliminate in number 17? Yeah, I heard it. AJ, what'd you say? C. Good, Maya. Maya, are you jumping in? You can just see. So C we can eliminate because that slope is positive. What is our y-intercept in number 17? Negative 2. Are there any answers we can eliminate just knowing that our y-intercept needs to be negative 2? C. We already eliminated C. What other one can we eliminate knowing that our y-intercept is negative 2? B. Very good. And now we're down to A and D. Now, looking at our sign, this is less than or equal to, which means our line is solid. The equal to sign means that the line needs to be solid. And it's less than, so the shading needs to be below the line. All of the solutions will be below our line since that means less than. So between A and D, which of our answer choices has the shading below? D. So that's our answer. Line A, the shading was what, Isaiah? Above. Excellent. Okay, let's look at number 19. Same steps, y'all. There's some weird stuff on the desk. Ooh, this one's a good one. Our slope is our coefficient in front of our x, which is 5/4. Is that positive or negative? Positive, good. Are there any answers we can eliminate that have negative slopes? See? There's one more. A. What's our B? What's our y-intercept? Ooh, say it louder. Who said it?
She said 0.
AJ, you said 0?
Yeah.
How did you know it was 0? Because if I added a 0 to this, it would simplify without the plus 0 at the end. So our B is going to be 0. Very good, AJ. Can we eliminate any of the others knowing that our y-intercept is 0? Can we eliminate B? Is our y-intercept at 0?
Yeah.
Yep, so we're going to keep B. What about D? Our y-intercept is at 0. Dang. Okay, so our line, because it's less than with no equal to sign underneath it, our line needs to be broken. And unfortunately, B and D both have broken lines. They both have dotted lines, so we can eliminate based off of that. But this is the less than sign, so the shading needs to be below. What answer choice has the shading below?
D.
D. Good. Gosh, we're almost done with the homework, y'all. Well, you have to do the other half, but these ones you have to graph by hand. And so it's going to be the exact same steps. You need your M, your B, your line, and your shading. Those are the 4 things that you need with inequalities. And AJ, this is just like the one we did. So our M is our slope. That's the number or the coefficient in front of the X. So that's going to be 2/5. And if we don't see a y-intercept, what did you say?
It's 1 or 0.
It's 0. Our line, because of the equal to sign, is going to be solid. And this inequality sign is greater than. So that means the shading needs to be above. So here, we are going to do the graphing. We'll always start with our y-intercept. So our y-intercept starts at 0. Our M, or our slope, is rise over run. Because it's a positive 2, are we going to rise going up or rise going down from that point? Up, very good. So up 2, and then our run is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our line is solid, so we can draw a solid line between those 2 points. And our shading is above, which means all of our solutions are above that line. And that's how you do that. So looking at number 23, my slope, or my coefficient in front of my x, is -7/5. My b, or my y-intercept, is -3. Now look at your sign. This is greater than, and there's no equal to sign underneath. So this means our line is broken. This is the same concept of open dot and closed dot. And our shading, because this is greater than, is above. So we always start with our y-intercept. We'll go down to -3 and put our dot on the y-axis. And looking at my slope, it's rise over run. So if I have -7, is that going down 7 from there or up 7 from there? Down, very good. 1, 2, 3, and we've run out of space. So we'll just keep going. 4, 5, 6, 7, basically off on the other graph. And then over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're over on the other graph. And the line is broken, so we'll do a dotted line. Look at us bleeding into the other graph. And where is the shading, did we say? Above or below? Above. And so you'll shade above. And last one I'm going to do with y'all. Number 25. My m is my coefficient in front of my x. So my m is -2. My b is my constant, -3. The line, because of the equal to sign, the line is going to be solid. And this one's also greater than, which means the shading will be above. So we always start with the y-intercept. We'll go down to -3. And my slope, if it's a whole number, how do I make -2 a fraction to help me with my rise over run? What do I put all whole numbers over if I want to make them a fraction? 1. So if it's -2 in the numerator, where will I go from my y-intercept? Down 2 or up 2? Down. So down 2, and that's not where my point is. My run is +1. So that means I'm going to go to the right. My line is solid. And where's the shading? if you do this video, you'll get at least a 50% on your homework. You're responsible for the other half of it. And if you post an appropriate comment in this video below, Masuko will bring you a treat on Friday. That's an incentive to get your homework done before Friday. So that is my incentive. You get a treat from Masuko on Friday if you comment appropriately in the comments. Signing off. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.